Hi, my name's Allan Flood. I'm a qualified mediator and certified alcohol and drug counselor in the state of Oregon. I'm doing this video because I want to help those that are suffering emotionally or physically, find peace of mind and a state of healing. I was diagnosed in 1986 with multiple sclerosis. The diagnosis was devastating for me, but I discovered pretty quickly that I was looking for physical healing when I was doing all my research, but what I really wanted was a spiritual healing so that I could be okay no matter what my body was doing. So what I'd like to share with you today are some things that I've learned through my understanding of the three principles that were discovered by Cindy Banks, and hopefully create the possibility within you that you can find a healing state and peace of mind that will enable your body to do whatever it's going to do. So, first of all, the story. My wife and I, many years ago, were at a cabin cross-country skiing up in the mountains around central Oregon. These are beautiful little cabins. They've been around forever. It was wintertime, of course. We were cross-country skiing. And it was the last day of a multi-day trip. The weather was pretty warm, though. It was snowing, but it was still wet snow. And, those of you that have cross-country skied know that when it snows and it's wet, sometimes the skiing isn't quite as much fun as it might be otherwise because the snow sticks to your skis if you don't have the right wax. Well, Nancy really wanted to go skiing on the last day, and I thought to myself, no, I think what I'd like to do is just go back to the cabin. You can ski right out your door. It's a wonderful place. Odell Lake is the name of the resort. You can ski right out your back door. So I went back to this cabin. The cabin is, like I said, a beautiful little rustic cabin in the middle of old-growth forest. There's a wood stove, of course, fire crackling. We had a Yorkshire Terrier named Amber that was snoring quietly on the couch. So I, opened the door, walked in, and was trying to decide what to do over the next hour or so while Nancy was skiing. I thought, well, first of all, maybe I'd like to read. And I thought about that, and I thought, no, what I really want to do is just sit here and take this in. Take in the smells and the fire and the sounds, and just take it in. So I sat down and deliberately didn't do anything. Just sat and breathed. As I sat there, I became more and more peaceful, more and more quiet, and everything got brighter and bigger and more wonderful. It's like a part of me opened up that might be otherwise distracted by things going on in my life. And I would call that state a healing state. I knew sitting there at that moment that my body was doing the best it could to heal from whatever was going on with me. And I know that you have felt times like this as well. I was diagnosed in 1986 with multiple sclerosis and was totally devastated by the diagnosis. Thrashed around for a few weeks trying to research, what to do about this dread disease as I had come to think about it. Well, when I was in the cabin, when I was in that healing state, I knew that I was going to be okay. And when I was first diagnosed with MS, what I wanted was a healing state. when I met Sydney Banks back in 1978 and sat in Cedar Beach Resort in their little conference room on the edge of St. Mary's Lake, along with maybe 15 other people, I had a similar experience as I did when I was in the cabin. When Sid started to talk, I felt so peaceful and so quiet that it has stuck with me for many, many years, 35 years now. Sid spoke about thought and consciousness and healing and love and states of mind and insecure thinking. And although his words made an impact on me, what really made an impact was the absolute certainty that he had about his experience, the experience that had transformed him a few years earlier than that. So when I was diagnosed in 1986, I was looking for something like that again. I wanted to find that peaceful, quiet state of mind. So I turned to Sid's audio tapes and books and videotapes, and I found that state of mind again. And what I know about that is that is healing. That state of consciousness, that peace of mind is healing. And when we're really quiet, when we're in touch with something bigger than ourselves, our bodies are doing the best. And sometimes they just don't have enough intelligence to heal, but sometimes they do. So what was so powerful about this experience with Sid? I'd been invited to go to Salt Spring Island and listen to Sid by Roger Mills, along with 5 other people. We were trainers in a human potential movement training organization in Eugene, Oregon. Awareness, responsibility, and choice were the core of what we were doing. And Roger was the lead trainer. So when Roger came across Sid on an invitation from Dr. John Enright, who had heard about him, we drove up not really knowing what to expect. And of course we were greatly impacted by Sid's simple sharing of what he had discovered. So Sid had discovered that you could explain the human experience in terms of 3 principles. And the principles are mind, thought, and consciousness. And what Sid knew and what we began to see was that if you could understand your life in terms of these 3 principles, your life would get more simple, it would get happier, it would be more fulfilling, and you'd have more peace of mind. Mind is just that principle that says that there is universal intelligence, a universal energy behind everything, and we can experience that when we have an insight or when we find wisdom, when we find common sense about our lives. We're experiencing mind manifesting through us. Another principle was the principle of thought, which just meant that we have the gift and the power of bringing alive that energy, that universal awareness, as our personal thinking and stored in our memories. So we are thinking all the time, and mind is manifesting through us as our personal thoughts. And finally, consciousness, the third principle, is about how we become aware of the world through our thinking and our senses. So consciousness is the gift that brings our thinking alive to us and makes everything real. Sid saw that you could explain, as I said, every human experience in terms of these 3 principles, mind, thought, and consciousness. And the value of doing this, or the value of beginning to understand the 3 principles, was that, first of all, you could see that your life experience was an inside-out phenomenon. That the world wasn't pounding on you, that you were, in effect, creating the world as you lived it every moment of every day. And with that, you could see that you were accountable for your experience, and that you had the ability, whether you used it or not, to change your mind in a moment, to find different feelings about life. And this, I think, brings huge hope to people that are suffering from chronic conditions or other emotional or physical conditions that are causing them pain. What is going on with me and my body because of the multiple sclerosis is different from the way I react to that. A symptom is just a symptom. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be in a wheelchair in a month. That reality is what I create with my insecure thinking, using the principle of thought with a capital T, and consciousness with a capital C. The three principles, understanding the three principles, mean that I don't have to be as afraid of what's happening to me, that there's a place inside me and a state of mind that is at peace, no matter what fears I have, that I don't have to be afraid of fear, that I don't have to be afraid of my feelings, because they're my feelings, and it's just insecure thinking that has me by the throat. Another thing that the three principles, understanding the three principles, mean is that the suffering that I'm going through is not me. The suffering I'm going through is something I'm creating, but that I am connected to something deeper and more wonderful. It's mind, the energy of all things. So the three principles help me stay safe and peaceful and healing. The cabin experience that I told you about earlier, that was an example of a healing state. And the three principles help me find that healing state over and over again, and not necessarily cause me to want to seek that same place and those same conditions for that healing state, because I know that it was me, that it was something I was doing in my heart, that it wasn't being caused by the circumstances I was in. So Sydney Banks discovered in the mid-1970s something incredible, and I'll be forever grateful for his having the courage to share that with the world. There are three kinds of healing in my mind. There's physical healing, which is when you heal from a cut, or when your body heals from something that's going on with it. There's emotional healing, which means that you're comfortable with your feelings, you're not scared by them, you let them come, you let them go, you see their thought-created nature. You don't tend to hang on to the negative ones because they hurt. And you can be yourself because you're not afraid of being yourself. You can be authentic. And finally, there's spiritual healing, which is a healing of your soul. And the three principles Sid brought with the three principles the opportunity for a spiritual healing. And like I said, I'll be forever grateful for having been in the right place at the right time. I would encourage you to investigate Sid's work. He has a website at sydneybanks.org. Sid passed away a couple of years ago. I have written a book called Perfect Misfortune, the Coming Home Edition, which is a digital book available on Amazon.com. It's my story about the three principles and the healing that I've experienced by understanding the three principles and how it affects my relationship with multiple sclerosis. I know that in everybody listening, there is a core of health and of well-being and of knowing that they are more than their minds would have them believe. And I'm hoping that this short video has intrigued you enough to investigate the three principles and the work of Sydney Banks. So, thank you so much for listening, and be well in your heart. Thank you.